All right. Well, it looks like we are live. Let me just double check on the settings. Sorry about that. Um, I know nobody was watching live or anything, but still kind of annoying when things don't work right away. Welcome back. This is Jeremy Makes, and I'm going to be continuing the Prusa i3 Mark III build. I know in the last video I actually had a couple of live streams because my internet dropped out and it broke it up in a couple of live streams, so I took some time and edited those together into another video, which is also on this channel, a little bit over 3 hours long there. Got a couple hours tonight I'm going to dedicate to continuing. I'm actually going to backtrack a little bit from where I was. I did decide after I stopped the stream last time that I was going to upgrade to some of the parts. I was looking into the directions of how to upgrade, and it just seemed like a little bit more work than I think was necessary to go and unassemble everything after assembling it all and getting it upgraded to the new part. So I took some time. I had some Prusa, some PETG, both orange and black, on its way, and I printed out those parts, and I believe I got all the ones that I want / need printed out. So let's go ahead and kick it off. So this is how the printer was when we left it. And let me switch over to this cam here. So the first thing I'm going to do is disassemble some of the items that I've already done. I've also added another camera. I don't know if you could see it in the overhead camera right here. I've got a little close-up camera here for anything that might be close up. Makes it a little bit easier for you as the viewer to see. I don't think my restream chat is going to work over the video inlay. Unfortunately, I'm having some problem with Restream. It's streaming the channel onto both Twitch and YouTube, but it's not streaming, or it's not allowing me to do the Restream chat so that the chats are integrated together. So I do have the chat up, and I'm trying to make sure that I pay attention in case anybody does happen to log on and does happen to ask any questions in chat. It doesn't pop up. I'll do my best to make sure, but also I get enthralled with this, and it distracts me away from chat. So as you can see in the directions, this is exactly where we left off, the end of step 4. So I am going to back up a little bit here, and I'm going to have to undo some of the work that I did. So the very first thing that I got to do is I got to undo the Z-axis belt that I tensioned the other day, because we're going to replace all of this here. So let me go ahead and take care of that and unthread this belt. I'll try to make sure the camera can see everything. And I don't have the printer in the background running this time. I noticed when I edited and rewatched some of the video from last time that the printer going in the background was quite loud. So while I'm here, I'm actually going to make this a little easier on myself and snip these zip ties that are holding on the extruder carriage. Go. So that's one of the pieces that's getting replaced for an easier piece. And then the next thing I got to do is undo these screws for the Z-axis rods. Let me get my... Of course I don't grab the right one the first time. It's the way it always is, right? Alright, so let me undo this. And the only thing I didn't grab is I didn't grab anything to put these screws into right away. It's alright. Got a big enough desk space here, I should be okay. And if the stream keeps dropping out and buffering, I apologize. I'm trying to use a new computer. The laptop I was using is a powerful laptop, but it only has 2 USB ports, and I have 2 cameras, a USB mic. Actually, I've got 3 USB cameras and a USB mic that I'm trying to run off that. And I had a USB 3.0 hub, but then when you run 2 cameras off a USB 3.0 hub, it doesn't want to do both cameras at the same time. And I was trying to make scenes that would only use one of those cameras and then the other cameras. Drop my tool all the way on the ground. But it just couldn't get it, so I was happy with the scenes. Like right now I'm running these 2 cameras and the screen capture of the instructions, and it just didn't want to do all at the same time because of the lack of input. So I'm using a desktop PC that I've had. It's kind of old. It doesn't have any type of dedicated graphics or anything like that, but it seems to be holding up its own, but it's not doing too great from what I can see. On YouTube, it's doing alright on Twitch for some reason. Oops, grab the wrong mouse here. YouTube says health is good, but whatever. Not a big deal, not that it matters to the video. So let's get these all undone. I'm actually going to scroll up into the video here. Instructions. I'll go all the way up to left. All right. It is dead quiet down here without a printer going. It's strange. Oh, and I don't have the dehumidifier going too. I noticed that noise in the background as well. So that's a plus for anybody listening. All right. So next thing we want to do, I'm going to put those off right there. Make some room for these rods. So next thing I want to do is unseat the smooth rods first. And remember, we got to pull these straight up. We don't want to loosen any ball bearings, ruin the bearings at all. So not bad. That was a little tougher. Come on. There we go. All right, beautiful. And now what we can do is twist both of the threaded rods connected to the steppers for the Z-axis. Man, I sliced my thumb open earlier today using an X-Acto knife, and it's really hard to grab things. I have to do this a little bit at a time. A lot easier when it's even. There we go. Get that all the way to the top. Okay. Alright, got that loose now. Beautiful. Let's just put that up and out of the way for a minute. Sorry, it's gonna. Wonder if the camera's gonna fight to kind of focus on that. All right, now we want to make sure and loosen up the motor, because this is one of the parts that I printed when I was doing the assembly last time. you know, they added some features to the X carriage here that allow you to tension the belt for the extruder a lot better, which I think is fantastic, because that was one of my struggles from my previous videos with the Mark IIs. And you know, just want to be able to use that feature, because it's definitely something that is a must. You must have a nice tight. All of the belts on the printer must be tight, so you don't get any type of layer shifting or hopping or anything like that. So, and actually, I can go ahead and take out these as well. Nuts. Wow. And because I'm using these upgraded parts that didn't come with my original kit, obviously if you've ordered any kits, I believe it's after February 2017, you would have these upgraded parts, or at least most of them, in your kit, along with the extra hardware. I'm hoping, praying that the extra hardware is in the spare bag. If it's not, I should have some extra hardware. I know I got a bunch of M3 bolts just like these and a bunch of M3 nuts. I just don't have any of the square nuts that they are using in some of the extra parts that I've seen, so I'm hoping they have enough. I know I have one right there. I don't know if the bolts are enough. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and remove the idler as well over here. Right here. So let me actually switch cameras to the overhead, since most of the work's happening on the desk. Sorry. So here we go. Well, that camera doesn't want to focus. And then they also did some improvements to this, the idler side of the X carriage as well. They thickened it up in an area where I had a problem as well. I had a problem with the X idler carriage on my MK2S cracking right where you tighten down the bolt for the idler pulley, and it still to this day has a crack in it. I even printed out some parts to replace it that had a little piece on there that kind of stuck out the side here. Held the idler pulley and allowed you to tension the belt. I just always worried about that because it used the bolt and nut, that with the back and forth motion loosening the nut eventually. I really believe it would. Oh, one more nut in there to get out. That one doesn't want to come out. Got a new home to go to, nut. This is not it. That's the idler. So make sure to keep all these parts together. All right. So now I can pull out the rods. It's a little difficult. Ah, no. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. Time here. There we go. There we go. All right, now we got to get these bearings out. So luckily I created this little tool a long time ago when I was experimenting with the dry lens on my MK2S. This is just a little 3D printed bolt with just a short amount of threads, and then just a sleeve that's threaded as well, so that I can slide it through, and it's approximately the right diameter, but it'll help me push them all the way through. There we go. Actually, I'll pull this back out now. push it. You don't even need this especially portion of this. A design needs to kind of hold the bearings at the same time so they can be loaded and unloaded. But it ended up being just not really useful except for anything like that. So I do have a couple bearings I'm storing on it right now. I bought some extra of these bearings just in case I broke anything or loosened anything while I was experimenting with the dryland bearings. I really didn't see any use in the dryland bearings. I started having some problems after I used them, so I reverted back to the original ball bearings. And now, I still had the problem, but then I eventually fixed it. I just never put the drylands back in. I don't think it was the drylands. I know a lot of people swear by those things. So here are our new printed pieces. So here are the old ones. Here are the new ones. They look about the same, don't they? Yes, they do. So let me go over what a little bit of the differences are. So let me get to the close camera because that'll actually help out a lot in the scene. So bring it over here. Sorry, this camera is really not the best quality. So here's the old X carriage printed piece, straight from Prusa, their print farm. You can see the 3 mounting holes for the motor here, and then very smooth top. I believe this is the surface that it prints on. Yeah, it is. Which is funny because almost every other part that I have, it's textured on this print side. This is not textured. This is very smooth, just like mine. So it looks like they were using a smooth PEI sheet. That would help if it focused. This one's also got manual focus too. So sorry about my fingers there. I'm human too. So this is their original one. They've got the little, I think it's a B3 right there. So that's the old part that I'm replacing. So here's the new part. The new part has the slots now to allow the bolts to move a little bit. And then if you look here on the top, there's a new hole and another new hole. And this is to see and make sure that those smooth rods that I just pulled out of this the other old part seats all the way in, and this is for a bolt, and then one of those square nuts like I was talking about earlier. And the idea is that once you get everything tensioned on the belt, you then it's so hard to remember which way to move things when you're on camera like that. You get all that tensioned, and then you loosen all 3 of these bolts. You tighten that bolt up. It moves the motor away from the extruder, and once you get the belt tensioned up to the correct tensioning, or you think anyway, you tighten the motor back down, and now the belt's tightened in its spot, and then you can of course loosen the motor and tighten or loosen as need be on the fly without having to take apart half the, or take apart half the machine. But you don't have to go behind the machine, move it if you can't have access to behind the machine, pull out things with tweezers or pliers or whatever. So that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to go ahead and do this upgrade to the new parts. And you can see that mine is a smooth finish as well. And then if we look at the back here, it says R3, which they have a weird number schematic because it's R3 and B3. B is supposed to mean printed on the Prusa print farm, and then R is supposed to mean you printed it at home. So I'm going to go ahead and put the old part out of the way for right now. There's our new part, and then here is the X carriage idler side. So if you take a look at the old one here, you could see the bolt side of the idler, where the idler gets bolted in, and then this is the nut side, and then we've got the B3 again, and then here's the smooth top again. Nothing real fancy about it. That's the original one. We look over here on the new one, you can actually kind of see that shadow. It's going up and down right there, right? That is our it's been thickened right there. Basically, if you take a look top to bottom there, it's thicker in part. You kind of see on the bottom right there versus the bottom right there. It's a thicker part. Let's see if I can do this. It looks thicker right there. Actually doesn't look a whole lot thicker, but this side as well, you'll see that the bolt now seats into a deeper hole, and then you also have on the top that little window. So this wasn't really a must, but because I was printing the other one, I thought to myself, why wouldn't I go ahead and just go ahead and print this one too? So those are the updates for those printed parts. So let's Go ahead and head back to the overhead camera. Make this camera out of the way here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to the top here. Actually, was there another set of instructions? No, it's not, because it's the same thing until you hit that motor. Those instructions were in here. So we're going to go back and we're going to put our trapezoid nuts back in. Yes, I had to cheat and look up at the screen in order to remember what those names were, just like the last stream. Oh, looks like someone's joined me on YouTube. Hello to whoever you are. Sorry if everything's buffering and moving around a lot. And my chat is not working for both Twitch and YouTube. So if you do chat, I do have it up on my screen over here, but it doesn't guarantee I'm going to see it if I happen to be doing something over here. So put these pieces in. That's it. So there was also new, well, I guess they're not new, but updated Y mounts for the smooth rod down there, but all it was just the same 4 parts. I guess they were printing 2 different parts before, and now they're not. It's just all the same 4 part, which makes sense. Why would you want to print 2 different parts when it could all just be 1 part? So I didn't print those because I didn't need to. It's not something that I needed. Why isn't this bolt threading through now? Grab the wrong bolts. No, that's the right ones. It's the M3 times 10. Nope, I lost whoever was on YouTube. Let me make sure of that. M3 times 10. M3 times 10. Oh no, it's M3 times 18. No, it's M3 times 10. Oh no, I need M3 times 18. Okay, so I didn't even realize that. Let's see. I know I've got a bunch of M3 stuff. Oh man, I got M3 times 16 and M3 times 20. So I wonder if they've got any in their spare bag. Take a look. So there's a good tip right there. M3 times 18 is what you need. I guess on the outside ones I could use M3 times 20. So M3 times 18, yeah, it's only got 2 in here. Man, I really hope I don't need more than 2. So M3, these are completely different nuts in here too. There we go. M3 times 18. M3 times by 18, let's see. That is 15. Come on. Yeah, that looks like M3 times 18. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it works right. Come on, what's going on here? Put one of these loose nuts and make sure this thread's in there right. Yeah, that thread's in there right. What is going on here? Leave that right there. I'm gonna try one of these 3 times 20s. one thread, and that's it. And we can't have that. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just do this outer one real quick, just to get this nuts on the piece. Then I can work on getting the extra one here in just a second. Oh, come on. Man, my hands are cold. It's actually snowing outside up here in the northeast in the area I live at now. There's only a couple inches on the ground, but I walked outside earlier to take some trash out, and there was snow on the ground. I walked out there, and then an hour later, you couldn't see my footprints, but a little bit anymore. Okay, so this bolt, this nut doesn't want to go in there. So this is a printed part. I did slice this straight from, I couldn't get the G code straight from Prusa to work. I assume it's for the MK3, the G code profile, because that's what they use, I assume. So I had to open it up in Slicer, or Slick 3R Prusa edition, and Prusa edition, and get it sliced. This is a very handy tool. Oop, now you can see it right there in the bottom. This is a very handy tool for you to have. It's a set of files. I got them cheap on, probably Amazon or something along that lines. And you use them all the time for 3D printed parts. Are good for situations like this where your tolerance or your measurements is just slightly off. You need to clean up a part a little bit. It doesn't take much. Just file off these edges just a tiny bit. And let's see if that works now. Better, but it's still not fitting. It's too bad I didn't test fit this stuff before the stream. But these literally just got finished earlier today. There we go. Oh, no. Ah, darn it. Boo. Feels like I could just get it forced in there if I just get it at the right angle. Yeah, obviously you want to be careful forcing anything, because it is plastic, it will break. Let me file that a little bit more. If a file doesn't work, then I'm going to have to break out the X-Acto knives. Oh, it looks like we're doing a lot of skipping and buffering. I'm sorry. Just got a notification. This little computer over here, encoding overloaded. I am in no way, shape, or form a professional live streamer. Amateur till I learn better. Finally got that in there. Just don't want to pop it out now. Good. All right, now we can work on the other one. To be honest, I did not think that this part would take this long. I thought this was going to be the quick part. Boy, the YouTube video is way behind. All right. So there's the X carriage motor mount, new part complete. Yet again. And then I did have to use the M3x20. You can kind of see the little nut. I'll order some M3x18. That's not going to be a tough replacement. It's on the outside of the machine. The right one's on the inside, so that's good. So let's go ahead and struggle with this other one now. Probably gonna have the same exact problem, but hey, let's try it out first before I go into filing anything, just to make sure there's a problem, and then we'll do the same steps again. Yep, looks like it's going to be the same exact problem. Sorry, doing that off camera there. All right, so let's go to this file. Let's get this file down. For work like this, where it's just a little bit, you know, because I'm sure people watching this video will be like, why didn't I just get the X-Acto knife and trim it? The X-Acto knife is going to trim a lot of it quickly, but I don't want a lot of it trimmed quickly. I want it to be a little bit more precise. I want it to be a tighter fit. You know, it's not anything that really is going to move around a lot, but it's still, you know, the less amount of play you can have in all parts of a 3D printer, the more quality you're going to get. You have any play in any part, it could definitely affect quality. And then every part that has a little bit of play in it kind of just compounds on top of each other until you just have a bigger problem. I don't want that to happen. So just going to do my due diligence and make sure that I get this in there right. Perfect. Great. That one was a lot easier. And then we'll do M3x20 again. I'm going to keep these sets of M3 nuts. I got a strong feeling that I did not review the upgrade instructions at all. I did a little bit. I just perused them, just browsed them. And I'm going to run into this again. So hopefully, it's something that will become useful. That there's not a lot of M3x18, which I don't have any of. I have M3x16 and M3x20. Don't have M3x18. Don't know if that's just a normal size. If this is a weird box. This M3x16, it definitely looks like it. That's the longest bolt in the pack. So, all right, already digging into the spares box. That's a spares bag. Really hope I really don't need them somewhere else. So let's get this nut in there. There we go. That was nice and easy. All right. You know what? I don't know why I'm not recording this. I should be recording this too, just in case the streams try to be weird. Let me switch back over to my quality. Yeah, okay. All right, so now we got the trapezoidal nuts back in. Beautiful. Ah, darn it. Ah, I'm an idiot. Have to take them back out. whoever's screaming at me right now, thank you. Because I got to put the bearings in first. Because these trapezoidal nuts go over the holes the bearings go in, and this is the side you have to put it in. If you don't remember from the last stream, or if you haven't seen any of the other streams or looked at any of the instructions, your linear bearings that are right there, they have to go in from this side because there's a little lip at the bottom here that keeps them from sliding out the bottom. So if you remember correctly, there's a specific way that you want to do this. So we're just going to slide this one in and make it our up and down one as best as possible. That's going to be a tight fit. Self-designed tool for the win. Alright, now we're going to do the same thing with this one. We're going to try to make this one our 45-degree angle. Actually, should just be able to do it this way. Beautiful. So let me see if I can get this camera's light on and then show you what I'm doing here. So, get down in there, camera. Zoom in. Enhance. Enhance. There we go. Take my hand out of the way. There we go. So there. So you see the tracks for the ball bearings. The back one's not the best, but it's better than nothing. So there's a series of ball bearings that are up and down, left and right, and then another set in the back are 45 degrees from that. And then of course you want the spacing. You can see in the crack there, you want that spacing. So one needs to be all the way at the bottom, the other one needs to be all the way at the top, and you want to have this spacing right here, so that you get the most contact with the smooth rod that you see here, that will be that it'll be riding on once you have it all on the machine. So you want to take extra care and make sure that's done, just to give, again, you want as little play in the system as possible. It's just going to equal a better print, a better experience altogether. So take your time now and do that. So now let me go back and repeat exactly what I just did. So this is going to be a little easier, I guess. I grabbed the right one this time. That's that one. That's that one. Oh, that's the one for the other side. Where did I put that M20 just now? Oh, the joys of live streaming stuff. All your little mistakes get shown because there's no editing. Thought about doing this originally as edited, but I just wanted to live stream it, just so that when you make a mistake, you know other people do too. I'm sure I'm not the first to make the mistakes that I'm going to make and have made, and I know it won't be the last. This isn't my first printer build, obviously, but it's also a process. There's that. M times 20, M3 times 20. Beautiful. All right, got that bearing in. You know what? Since I'm working on this carriage, I'm going to go ahead and install the idler at the same time. That way this carriage can be completely done. Remember, when you're tightening these, get them just down to it hits the plastic. Another 90 degrees. And that's nice and tight. So let's go ahead and get this idler in. So I'm going to assume this nut's not going to want to fit right, but it doesn't hurt to try again. That's going to be a lot tougher of a area to file. Let me actually go to... Oh no, that's right. That one's good. if my YouTube video is live anymore. Oh, yep, it is. Okay. Get it started in there. It doesn't want to stay. Yep, I'm gonna have to file it a little bit. So this file's not gonna be any help. I'm gonna put my rest of my files. You guys see them out here? I don't. Where'd I put them? Okay, come on, Jeremy. No, yeah, this isn't gonna work. A little bit. Where did I put my files? Jeez. You'd think I would have put them down somewhere close by, but I didn't. Really don't think this is going to be enough, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Let's try this. That's not working. Yeah, that's not working. Files, 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 files. Oh no, I didn't put them in there. Right there. If they were a snake, they would have bit me. Okay. So let's file this down a little bit better. Locking the nylon locking nut in the right direction. Man, my hands are freezing. It's hard to do with cold hands. Sorry for anybody watching on a live stream. I keep seeing people pop in and out, but I'm sure with the buffering, it's not going to be conducive to watching it live. So I apologize. I'll have to find a different way on next stream, which I do plan on streaming some more. Let me filter that, file that some more. Definitely need some more filing, so. Threading this on its bolt, using that to push it in, and that's not working either. Nope, don't want to mess up the pieces. I'm not going to worry about that. Let's just keep working on it a little bit at a time. I do remember on the print from Prusa that it was tight too. So makes sense that it's tight on my printed part. But as we're learning that, you know, my printer, my MK2, just printed it just a little too generous, I guess. A little too proud, I guess would be the term, right? Get these needle pliers to grab the top. Oh yeah. Okay, but not strong enough to. Ah, good reflexes. Keep dropping stuff in my lap. Scoot in a little bit on the desk. The arms hit. So let's keep doing this. You know what? I'm gonna move this out of the way. Sorry. We'll get to that in just a second. All right, now I can get up here in the middle. Whoa, that's starting to go now. Wonder if that's enough for the bolt to go all the way through and catch it. All right, so let's get the idler pulley put in. Through. And then you know what? Let me scroll back up. They had a suggestion on when you put this on. Oh, it's down. Oh, it was actually the last step. Okay. All right. I'm not going to go back a step. But I do need to make sure that this gets caught into this nut here. And there we go. And I'm into the nylon, that's good. Slip a little bit there. And that spins nice. Can you hear that? Probably couldn't hear that last time I tried because of the printer and the dehumidifier going back there. All right, so now the X carriage idler side is complete. Now it's time to undo some more of my work that I just did. Not even the last stream, I just did because I forgot about the bearings. Smart me. Me smart. All right, so that's the 20mm one. Here's the 18mm one. Go ahead and just get that nut out of there because it's going to fall out anyway. So let's get these bearings in here from the top. Let's make this one my 90-degree angle one again. Come on. tool here. Yay, 90 degrees. Beautiful. Now that that one went in, should be able to get this one a little bit easier. Get it at 45 degrees. That's about right. There we go. All right, now that's all the way in. B-E-A, beautiful. Love it. Good stuff. All right, so now let's get our trapezoidal nut back on. I don't know why I'm sitting on this part of the instructions. This has nothing to do with what we're doing right this very minute. This has everything to do with what we're doing this very minute. All right, trapezoidal nut goes back on. Grab our M3 times 18 for the side that needs only that size or can only use that size. Wondering why it went from 10 to 18. I mean, I guess it is a... Oh yeah. If you look at the overhead, you can see that where the trapezoidal nut gets bolted down, it's a lot thicker. They don't have the little angled support structure right there anymore. It's all solid. I wonder why they decided to change that. That's interesting. I know they said they beefed up the part, but these two parts, but I didn't realize that that was one of the things they beefed up. I wonder what the problem was happening. I never had any problems with that I know of, that I'm aware of anyway. Alright, down to the plastic, 90 degrees. Down to the plastic, 90 degrees. Alright, now I've got my X carriage assembly. I'm going to leave my files nearby and handy. I am going to lock that up and put that out of the way for just a minute so it doesn't get in the way. Now I'm going to go ahead and continue on. So doing things a little bit backwards from the instructions on the screen here. But I want to make sure I put these on in the right order. So again, we want to make sure that the smooth rod with the two linear bearings goes on the top of the X carriages. So with these new little windows, it's going to be a lot easier to see once it's seated all the way in. Oh man, that is tight in there. Let me pull that out. I am going to file that a little bit. Guess I should have guessed that, right? I'm going to use this one here. Just give this a little bit of a file inside the hole. Don't want to do too much because you do want it to be tight. But that just was not threading, not sliding in at all. Go ahead and do this one too. No reason that it would not be that same exact way. All right. All right, so got my two bearings on the top. Yeah, much better. Still doesn't want to go in all the way. I guess that's a good thing, but man, don't want to break anything doing this. Don't want to bend the rods or anything. That's not even anywhere close. Okay. No, I'm not going to be able to get it out. That's embarrassing. Alright, so let me go ahead and that one out a little bit more. that one in. I just can't get that one in. That is annoying. So I'm going to do more work on these because I don't want to run into that same problem on this end. Because once I get one end in, especially this end, I'll be a little bit more comfortable with forcing the other end in. And for those of you that are wondering, I am using, it looks like a flat file at first, but it's actually rounded on this side and flat on this side. So this rounded side is the side I'm using to get down in there. Because obviously this is a round hole. Can't stick a square peg in a round hole of the same size. Man, we're already an hour into this. I am not that far. Jeez. Jeez Louise. Okay. All right. So that side is all the way seated. Did a good filing job over there. Oh, jeez Louise. Sorry. Let me go to the front and small. There we go. So you can see my struggling face better. Because of course these are smooth rods, so there's nothing to grab onto. Wonder. Carefully. This is not a hammer. For any Ivan fans out there. There it goes. Woo! That was fun. Alright, so this time I'm going to take a little more time to get this all filed out on the inside. Fun stuff. All right, wish me luck. Still doesn't want to go in all the way. Oh, wait, there we go. That side's seated all the way. And that side's seated all the way. Beautiful. Those new little windows that they put in there work. Love it. Absolutely fantastic. All right. So now let's go ahead and put our motor back on. We got our 4 M3 times 10s. Switch around to my main overhead. There we go. So we want to make sure that the wire is down from the X assembly, just like that. Oh, ooh. Is that thicker too? Doesn't look like it's thicker. Oh, it's not M3 times 10. These are the old. These are the old screws for the trapezoidal. So I'm going to put these over here. Maybe I can use them somewhere else, maybe not. These are the 3 screws. I guess an M3 times 18 again. I don't remember from the instructions. So that needs to be filed out a little bit. This is again what these are really good for. This is just a round one for any holes that you 3D print, depending on your layer heights and everything. Sometimes you got to take a little bit of a file to them. Just open them up a tiny bit. And this cut on my thumb is really bothering me when I'm doing this. Let's see if that works better. I can get that in there. That's not the right one. That is. Alright, get that all started on there. Actually, let me go back up. You know what? I am going to go back one step. There we go. And let me get to the motor. Oh, they don't tell you to put the tensioner in there yet. Okay. But I am going to be smart because maybe it's a different set of instructions, or maybe I'm just missing it because I'm trying to breeze through this because we've already done this on stream. But I am going to see if you can see in the video or in the let me bring this down a little bit for you. There you go. So because of those slots for the bolts, I'm gonna get it so that the motor is twisted towards the where the extruder will be, so that once we get that belt tightened, we can then loosen this, use their little system with the extra set of, or the extra bolt and square nut up there. We'll then tighten it the rest of the way. So down to the plastic, there it is, 90 degrees. Down to the plastic, 90 degrees. degrees. Beautiful. All right, so now our X carriage is complete again. Yay us. So getting back to the point of where we were at. So we've been all that, we've done all that, and now we're doing this. All right, so now we're going to assemble the X-axis and smooth rod. So let's go ahead and bring back our main frame. Watch out for these wires here. Get everything in view of the cameras. There we go. So our motor goes on the Prusa side of things, and we're going to slide the threaded rods so that they just get into the trapezoidal nuts. I'm going to have to move the camera just a tiny bit here just so I can see. There we go. And then we can use the threads to get it started. Started in there. There we go. And then as you come down, if you look at the picture, they got the little green arrows. You want to be very careful and lower everything so it's as parallel as it can be by hand. And I'm not doing a very good job. Since I'm going to get this on here now I can go back to this part, because you'll notice in the picture there it shows the extruder main body mounted already, and I took mine off, of course. So I'm going to go back because that's one of the pieces that they upgraded. So let me show you some of the upgrades to this piece here. I just thought it'd be easier to mount it up on there. It's where I took it off of anyway. So let me go to my close camera again, bring this bad boy in. So here's our old part, and I'll zoom in. Focus, 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 focus. So here's our old part. The two linear bearings go up in this channel here. The one would go down in the bottom, and then there's the filament sensor and lots of other things that get wired through this in some of these slots. But mainly here and here is really where the biggest changes have happened. So it used to be that your belt, your tooth belt goes tooth down over the top of this little post here, around, and then back on itself, and you do this side even with itself, and then the two teeth lock into each other and go into this slot, which is just big enough to hold the two pieces together, and it holds together really tight. And then you thread it through everything, the idler back around the motor, come back around the other side, stick the one side through, wrap it around, and then you had to kind of get it tight as tight can be on this side, and then stick it through. And that's really where the problem was happening for a lot of people, including myself, was getting that to the exact right tension and having to undo that and redo it, undo it, redo it. It was just a kind of a tedious task that people gave up on pretty easily. So the new part here, you can see changes greatly. A lot of it's exactly the same. My print actually looks a little better. I don't know if you can see that on film or in the video. Not saying my part looks tremendously better, but just kind of looks better. Ah, there we go. So remember I said earlier, textured. They're using textured PIE sheets. You can see that texture right there. And then mine, and you can see some of the problems that I have. It's not even bed adhesion. It's just, I guess it is bed adhesion, but it's just, ends up not to be the cleanest first layer, but it's still really nice in some sections, and then really sections it's really nasty. But it works really well. So not quite as clean lines up in this upper area up here, but then you still have the clean lines everywhere else too. I can barely see my R3. It's funny. So now you have it. It doesn't wrap back around itself. Everything's grabbed on by the part there. And then the same thing on this side, and all you have to do to adjust it is pull it out, trim it more, and put it in. I'm iffy if that's actually going to work better, air quote, better. You can see in the overhead cam, air quotes, right? Um, the consensus so far in the forums is that it does. So hey, I'm going to go with it. That's what I want to do. But the first thing we got to do now is we got to get these zip ties so that it stays on there. So I'm going to put this part out of the way. Luckily, they gave us a whole stinking bag of zip ties. I love it. They didn't give you just enough to finish the job, which I have a bag of zip ties anyway. But so again with this, let me get this little camera out of the way. We want to make sure that the head of the zip tie is up and facing out, so the teeth are facing you with the what I would call at this time the back portion. It is actually going to be the back portion once it's on the machine too. And then they've got this hole on top of the two bearings. You just slide this in here, and the zip tie just goes straight through. And the whole point is you want the head of the zip tie to be right up against the body of the extruder mount here. And you're going to trim the excess off so there's no clearance issues whatsoever. So I'm going to pull that in pretty tight there. Put it on here. Get the two bearings right next to each other and into their home. Start getting the zip tie tight. Great. Love it. Working out great. Alright, let's pull this into frame here. There we go. I guess this probably could have worked a little better off of the frame. Let's just bring it down more so it's easier to work with. Trying to keep it level. Again, doing this by hand. My hands are not stepper motors. Side clippers here, just extra pieces of snip, and there we go. And now let's make sure. Oh, and then we gotta get the top portion on too. So what we're gonna do now is get these back. Oh, threaded smooth rods. Duh. So again, we want to make sure that we get these into their new home as straight as possible. You don't want to knock any bearings out of the way. If you have a little bit of a problem, just be careful. Just slightly turn the rod until you get it all the way through. And once you have it all the way through, you're safe. And then it goes down into this, you can't see it in that video. There we go. There's a hole the printed part down here on top of the battery. You can kind of see the silver of the motor showing right there. Put that down. Do that. Actually, I forgot to put that back up. I was not anticipating that being such a difficult thing to replace. I put that on a scissor arm so that I could bring it down closer when I needed to at times. And then now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Smooth rod. You can see the hole better on that side. You can see the silver of the top of the motor. Oh, top bearing down easily. Next bearing. Oh, this is easy. Nice. Still want to be very careful. Don't take me having an easy time with that, as you can just throw them in there. So now we're going to put the Z-axis caps on. There's a big hole for the threaded rod, and there's a smaller hole for the smooth rod, and then we got the M3 times 10. The bolts here, you just snap on right there. Grab this and this, and find their new home through the pre-threaded holes that are drilled into the superstructure frame. I've always liked that term, superstructure. It's just like the term schematics. I know that I don't say that word right, but it's still such a fun word to say. Schematics. Schematic. And there we go. Okay, get that tightened down. Get it all the way down to it hits the plastic. Almost there. There it is. And then we try to get a 90-degree turn out of that. And then let's get that one down to plastic. And then let's get another. That's not quite 90 degrees. Now that is. Alright. So now let's get this other one on here. There we go. Get to your new home. There we go. And I'm just using a mixture of the Allen wrench and my fingers to guide it into its spot. If you ever receive a little bit more tension on these bolts than you're used to, if you've never done this before, basically if it starts to get too hard, much harder than any of the other ones, then you need to make sure that it's threaded right. You don't want to strip the threads on any of these, and that's what I'm experiencing right here. So I'm going to turn this. Not very conducive for the stream cameras right now, but I'd rather not strip something and break it at this moment. So let me make sure that's which one it is. Beautiful. So it's just a little offline, unaligned. Now that's going really nice. Alright. Let's get that tightened all the way down. Plastic, 90 degrees? That's about 90 degrees. Plastic. 90 degrees. Ah, looks good. Alright, almost there. Now we need to do our belt. So this is where it comes into, I'm going to actually see if this works better for you guys. Let's go ahead and get this. And sorry about the backlight. That's one of my lights. I'm using to light up the work area here. Let me see if I can get that so it's not to see that. I can see some extreme stuff in the background though. That's alright. This camera does not work very well, does it? So actually, let me. Let's go to the front. There we go. Now that's much better. So, what we're going to do, we're going to feed this in through this new little home. Yeah, sorry guys, can't do it that way. So. Belt goes all the way down in there. You can see in step 10, which I have not gone up to yet. There it is. And step 11, there we go. So this is how we're starting it right there. So we're starting it, putting it all the way down into that vertical channel, and then feeding the belt into the tooth area of the part. then I'm going to take the little provided by Prusa flathead screwdriver, trying to make sure I don't hit any plastic pieces, and slide that belt all the way in to its new home. And then we feed it over the idler bearing that we just installed and reinstalled a minute ago. Out the back side of the X idler printed part. And then we now want to go back through underneath the idler bearing. There we go. And we want to go through the channel that's underneath of where we started this. We want to go underneath of the tooth gear that's on the stepper motor over here. Nice screwdriver. Grab that belt. There we go. You want to take it over the tooth bearing back through this channel. Go. Making sure we get onto the tooth bearing. Very nice. And then this is the part where it gets a little difficult. So let's follow the instructions, shall we? See, right here it tells you to loosen the motor and make sure that it is tilted. Oh, but before you continue to guide the belt through the X-axis, please release 2 M3 nuts on the X end. Okay, so it's telling us to loosen them now. So I already had it at its loosest spot, but we're going to go ahead and loosen them, follow the instructions. These guys know what they're doing, they build them all the time. Probably because I have all the screws tight. There we go. So now the motor, you can see, can tilt back and forth some. So as I tighten it, it's going to go that way, and then once I'm done, that screw and nut that's going to go in right here. Which, can I get to that? Yes, I can. Actually, once that tilted up, no, I can't. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm glad I checked on that. I believe there is an extra, no extra square nuts in here. That might prove to be a problem later, but I don't know if you guys remember from the last stream, for some reason, I had an extra square screw and a couple nuts from my step 3. So I'm going to go ahead and place this square nut into its home, if I can get it in there. Man. Let me undo this motor bolt here. So I don't remember seeing instructions to put the in there up there, but at the same time, doesn't mean they weren't there. Guaranteeing your instructions probably say to put it in before you put this motor in. There we go. So now I can get this square nut in there. And fits without any filing needed. Let me go ahead and make sure that it is seated all the way with this little Allen key. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and try to use one of these. They look like M3 10mm bolts. Let me see if I can get that to get into here. Yeah, that's definitely something that needs to be done, not installed on the frame. It definitely works though. So since I have that in there now, let me go ahead and at least get this started back in. Come on, you were just in there. There we go. Okay, so that's all nice and loose again, and I got the idler in there. Okay, so now let's continue on with the instructions. Boy, I don't like to follow instructions, do I? All right, so now this is the wrong one here, right? Do they have the instructions? Oh yeah, this is the right one here. Okay. So before continuing, rotate X-axis motor is indicated towards the frame. Boom. Insert the flat part of the XGT2 belt into the X carriage. As in the second picture, use a screwdriver or a small Allen key to push the belt in. There will be overhang on this side. Don't trim it yet. Tensioning the X belt. Part 1 new design. Use right hand and rotate the motor to its original position and hold it. Tension is applied to the belt. Using 2 fingers on your left hand, push the belt together. Very small force should be needed for bending the belt, but the belt shouldn't be bent by its own weight before being pressed with your fingers. It must be straight. If you're struggling to rotate the motor back in a position, the belt tension is too tight. Depending on the belt being under or overstretched, adjust the amount of the belt in the X carriage. When done, rotate the motor to its original position and tighten with M3 nuts again. So that's not very clear, but I think I understand what they're going after here. So we're wanting to tension this. So I want to get this all the way here. So we want to start with, let me roll back up here. Start with getting the belt started in its new home channel. So I'm going to pull a little bit on this. Get it started in there. I'm going to use my needle nose pliers here to push that in a little bit. I'm actually going to grab an Allen key. See if I can get that to push in a little bit more. And they have it going up and over too. Alright, so that's not seated all the way in, but it's in enough to hold on. So now they're saying to pull the motor back, and that is way too loose. It says using 2 fingers on your left hand. Well, I'm using my left hand to turn the motor. This is the original position. Depending on that's not very small force. That's like no force. So let me tension that up a little bit more. There we go. I've got to turn it towards me. I can't see what's going on here. There we go. now I'm using the right instructions. So right hand's turning the motor, and man, it still doesn't feel like it's good. Maybe that's why, because I didn't have the motor turned back. Okay. That feels a little better. Let's try it that way. Let's see if that works. That feels pretty good. All right, so tensioning, now we're gonna do that. Use the right hand rotation. Use 2 fingers. If you're struggling to rotate the motor back in position, the belt's too tight. Finger on the belt being used or stretched. When done, rotate the motor to its original position and tighten the M3 nuts again. So we're gonna grab our Allen key. We're gonna rotate it back to its original position here. All that's down to plastic. Still don't feel like that's tight enough, but we'll find out here in a minute because it'll have us test it. And I know it doesn't say it. I'm just gonna wait. No, I'm not gonna wait. So they've got this bolt up here, and I'm going to assume that it's to hold the motor into its place now. So I'm just going to tighten this up till it is tight to this other bolt inside of the printed part so that it just can't slide back, the motor itself. I feel like I just hit something there. Let's make sure. Yep, sure did. All right. So now we want to look down the path to make sure everything looks straight. Everything looks parallel along the path of the belt. Yep, sure does. And now what they're saying to do is to do like we did last time. We're going to hold the motor shaft with a pair of needle nose pliers. Do it as tight as we can. And then try to move the carriage and see if it'll jump the teeth on the bearing. I do see it. Boy, yep. See, told you, not tight enough. Got it to slip. So now we're going to reverse everything that we just did, and we're going to get that belt a little tighter. I knew it was going to be that way. I'm going to back this bolt out as far as I can. Probably going to get it all the way loose. Don't want it getting in the way of the motor mount bolts at all. Slide back and forth. And I want it to be loose. Go back to the overhead. You really can't see anything. There we go. There we go. So you can see that bolt's right there. And alright, so that's now completely loose. So now let's loosen these motor mount bolts. There we go. And you do want to loosen all three. I know it just says 2, but if you have the bottom one too tight, you won't be able to rotate. So the tension brought the motor back to its original position now. So again, I'm gonna try to get this top belt tighter. You know what I'm gonna do? Got this little permanent marker right here. Now it's black on black, but the permanent marker is shiny. I'm gonna mark where it's at right now, make sure I get it tighter. Try to get that black mark to be inside of the printed part now. You want me to help here? A pair of pliers. That is like 1 or 2 teeth tighter, which I guess would be good because it just barely slipped last time. Let's try to get that seated in there more. Spot. It doesn't feel much tighter. It feels a little tighter, but not much. Let's try it again. I feel like I got it tight enough on the second try on the first iteration of this part. So let's see if I can get it the second try this time around too. So, do the same thing again. We're going to grab the flat spot of our motor shaft that's exposed here. I grab the X carriage. I can see it bowing some, but it's not skipping teeth. And I'm pushing pretty darn hard. So, I guess I'm happy with that. If the belt is stretched properly, you should feel resistance, and the X carriage won't move at all. If the belt's too loose, it'll deform, create a wave, and jump over the teeth. Repeat all the steps until now. Still feel like that's a little difficult on the back side here. I don't know anything they could do. I don't have any suggestions to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and trim it, because if there's anything I'm going to do, it's only going to make it shorter. They say to mark it and then cut it. I think I could just use my side cutters, because they're telling you to use a pair of pliers to do it. I can just use my side cutters. Get it right where it ends in the part there. One tooth too long. Okay, come on. Pull the part other way out. Side cutters, these things are great. And they're great for 3D printed parts too. This will trim off little boogers, thicker strings on stringing, anything along that lines. So let's go ahead and use a smaller Allen key to get that seated all the way in its new home. And there we go. So now it says fine tuning. This step will finish tensioning the belt. Please read the instructions first. Your belt might have proper tension already. First, slightly release all the screws holding the motor, otherwise the upper tensioner won't work. The motor must be able to move. So let's do that again. Okay, so here we go. We're going to loosen all these bolts again. The motor must be able to move. I can't move yet, so let's see. I have all these bolts loosened enough. Let's find out. Might just be because it's tensioned with the belt too, so it might not want to move. All right, there we go. Now it says the M3 times 18 screw. I don't have an M3 times 18. This is definitely not an M3 times 18. It's an M3 times 10. So I'm going to use an M3 times 20 and hope it works. That's an M3 times 16, M3 times 20. I'm pretty sure having a little extra sticking out is not going to be the end of the world. And it actually means I can do a lot of it by hand first. Alright, so got that down into its home. And now I need the Allen key to get it tightened the rest of the way. I gotta tell you that the belts should sound like a bass guitar when you're plucking them. Let's see if you can hear that. Get the mic down in here. There we go. That does not sound like a bass guitar yet. Now I did just loosen the motor, but we need to get it nice and tight. Sound a little better. That's still not, man, still don't like how unhard that is, how not hard that is. And that's as far as that motor moves. Man, not happy with that at all. Loosen this back. I'm going to do this the way I feel it needs to be done, because they word things where it sounds like you're turning it back by hand and then tightening the motors back down and then you're loosening them again to go right back to where it was with this bolt. Come on. Oh, Jesus. You guys see that? So you guys see that that warning up there? The big one? It says, attention! Be extremely careful while tightening. You can crack the part if you over tighten the screw. I want you to guess, just guess, if you had to, what just happened. If you guessed that that part just cracked, you would be right. Right there. Right on the layer line. So, we are now an hour and a half into this stream. Almost 2 hours, and I'm not even back to where I was. That is extremely disappointing. Extremely disappointing. Ah, boy. So, what does that mean? That means that this part now has to be replaced with the old part. Ah, man. As you can tell from my size and my tone, I am not happy. Not happy at all. But, fair warning to any of you doing this upgrade, if you happen to have an old M3 kit that you are wanting to upgrade to the new parts, be very careful when doing that, because you'll be me and you'll break it. So now I'm just thinking, is there a way for me to do that without undoing all of this work I did already? And I do not believe there is. I think in order to replace this part, I've got to bring all of this back up. Don't have to take it all apart again, but I do need to take this side completely apart. That side's fine, the carriage is fine, but I need to take this part off. And it just goes to show, you should always print multiple of the same part. I should have, because I would have used it anyway. I've got the MK2S to MK3 full kit ordered and on its way. It's supposed to be here in like 3 weeks, I guess. So I got to print out the parts for it anyway. I was just hoping to print them on this machine instead of my MK2S. But I might or might not wait. I'm not going to wait for doing this machine anymore. I'm done waiting for doing this machine. I'm going to finish this machine even with the old X-carriage motor end. But that just means that tightening this is going to be a little bit more difficult. I guess I should have taken the belt out all the way first. Man, that sucks. Monkey balls. I'm going to leave all that. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to pull all this out of here. so let's get that off. So now I've got to reverse all of this last 2 hours of work. To get this one piece off. Good news is it should be fairly quick. I'm not going to mess around with the instructions. I'm not going to go through and overly explain everything. So again, I got to remove these smooth rods. Just be very careful, especially because I'm frustrated. Don't want to mess anything up. You know you make mistakes when you're frustrated, right? Not guaranteeing I'm not going to make a mistake, but I'm going to do everything on my power to make sure I make as little mistakes as I possibly can. Come on. Come on. There we go. Gotta go slow, gotta go slow. Now, I'm going to rotate these up. Almost there. All right. All right. Oh, there's that squared up. Well, definitely not going to need that right now. All right, so let's go ahead and take this out. And I'm glad I kept those other screws handy over here. Go ahead and put that back into the spare bag. My bolts out of here that did not come with this kit. Here we go. Let's get bolts that came in the spare bag. spare bag. Actually, no. What am I doing? I'm not replacing this piece. See? That's the frustration. Coming back. This piece is staying. And tighten. Take that out of there. Bolt in there. Right there it is. Get that up there with its friend. This motor mount bolt does not want to come all the way out. Go. And then I need this nut here too. Got that. Now I need the spare bag anymore. So this is taking almost as long as it took to get to this point the first time just to do this. Okay, let's take these two out of here. Come on. I'm not worried about ruining this part now. This part's trash. It's actually going to go into a bin of other failed, non-used parts. Oh, come on. Bearings. That's like a big pain in the ass. I'm pulling this smooth beam out now. Guess if I broke the part, it wouldn't really matter. Bottom's coming, top's not. All right, same trick again. Remember, this is not a hammer. Came out that side. Oh, that's not good. This is just not going well tonight, guys. Not going well at all. That's the noises I make when I'm frustrated. Right tool for the right job. Side of the desk, right? Probably not the brightest thing in the world. But Alright, it's been a long day, and now this is not working out. No excuses, I gotta be more careful. At least going to get this back to where it was before the stream started today. Like I said, I'm not worried about this part now. I'm worried about the rod, but I'm not worried about this part now. In case you were wondering, let's see if I can get the camera to focus on that. There we go. You see it? Whoop, wrong way. Crack goes all the way through. You can see it going down the side of the part right there, and then to the there we go. So learn from what Prusa warns you about here, and my dumb mistake. Don't over tighten that. Just had to break the part a little bit more. Ugh. Find my box of failed stuff over there somewhere. Alright, so luckily this part didn't get too far. So let's put it back together. Put our bearings back in the correct pattern, which I won't go over again because you guys already heard it all already. Twice now. And then this one goes in at 45 degrees. Okay. Now let's put our trapezoid nut back in. And you're home. Actually, I think I left that other nut in that part over there. There they are. Oh no, there it is. I did take it out, that's right. I remember now taking it out. Sorry, the frame's kind of hiding what I'm doing there on the smaller picture. Go. Let's make sure we get this back into the right positioning. That one's seated all the way in. Alright, that's seated all the way in. Let's get our motor mounted in the correct position. It's going to be interesting to tension this up with the new carriage, but I'll get it done. NBD, no big deal. Ideally, it should be pretty tensioned already. But we'll see. Though going back to the old carriage anyway, because the I trimmed the belt more. And it's probably now too short for the old carriage design. So we'll find out, won't we? Alright, so got that done there. Don't need my hammer anymore. Remember, it's not a hammer. Sorry, just I'm watching a lot of Ivan. Can't remember his last name now. YouTuber. Does a lot of 3D printing, builds a lot of crazy machines with 3D printing. A lot of big machines, big crazy things. He's a funny guy. And he likes to use things that aren't hammers as hammers. But if you've ever worked on anything before, you've probably done the same thing, because I know I have. I think he's even got some merch. It's a shirt that says this is not a hammer, but I think it's got a screwdriver, which is commonly used as a hammer, yes. Wait. Did I just do what I think I just did? Yes, I did. It's a dummy. Come on. I just put that top smooth rod on backwards when it popped out of place with the carriage on it. So the carriage is now facing the wrong way. Again, mistakes are made when you're frustrated. You're not paying attention. When it slipped off, I think that I put that back on the wrong way. I almost made another dumb mistake there, but okay. There we go. So now the X carriage is back in its correct orientation and correct spot. That is now seated all the way in. Now I can continue back with this part. Man. Get that to fit back in its home. There we go. There we go. Try to keep that as level as possible on its way down. All right, now back for more with the belts. Using my flathead screwdriver again to get this beginning portion of the belt all nice and seated in its home. There we go. And back to where we were not that long ago. Feeding this belt through top of the idler side. Bottom of the idler side, through the channel on the carriage, underneath. I got the motor installed right? Yes, I do. It's just twisted up on itself. Okay. underneath the idler motor. Tooth gear. Not the idler motor. The X motor tooth gear. Back over the top of the X motor tooth gear. There we go. I am forgetting something extremely important that you don't want to forget to do right now. These smooth rods need to go back in. Push that back down. Remember, be careful. You want to make sure that they are straight up and down as you feed them through. Don't want to knock any ball bearings loose. If you find a little resistance, just pull back up, twist a little bit until you get it all the way through like that. And all the way down to the motor. And then let's put our X-axis, top axis caps back on here. X-axis, top axis, tab, ba ba ba, ba 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 ba. Now I'm just rambling now. What do you think about that, people? We are almost back to where we were. Man, that just If I was by myself, I would probably scream out quite a few profanities. And I still might do that once I hit stop streaming. But hey, not that y'all care. I'm kidding. And tight. Get that in there. And tight. This cap. Let's go. Alright, so now we can get these tightened down, move on to getting this X-axis belt tensioned again. So we've got it threaded through, got everything in place, all the right channels. This is going to be a bit more difficult with the lack of, almost forgot, I need to loosen this bolt all the way. If you don't remember on the old design, actually I believe it's down here in a couple steps. Yeah, you want to loosen this screw and the bottom screw. So it's the top left and the bottom right if you were looking at the front of the machine and the motor. Because you do want to rotate the motor out of the way. Out of the way. You want to rotate the motor so that you can tension the belt with the motor again. So it's kind of the same concept, only they had a bolt that is assisting with the tensioning in the new setup. So I think I do plan on upgrading this part to the new part. Again, I do like that idea of that bolt obviously being more careful to not. Like they said, caution, do not over tighten that bolt. So luckily, I still have my black mark on here, which does not work as well on this one. But anyway, so let's just keep going with it. Alright. That's good right there. Use my flathead screwdriver provided by Prusa. PRUSA. Pretty decent. There we go. So once we do that, rotate this out counterclockwise. Go. That's pretty good. So let's get these bolts back into your home. Oh, they're still in there. Jesus, Jeremy. I would have almost been better off just not upgrading the parts, but whatever. At least wanted to upgrade the extruder, because some of the parts on the front of the extruder with the new angled fan and things like that are just seem to be much better for me. Seem to be much better to me. We'll see how that goes, though. Plastic. That's it there. Extra M3 10mm bolts out of the way. My fun little tool out of the way. Sounds okay, not too bad. Might be a little bit hasty right now, but let's try this. We're gonna hold on to this. Let's see if we can jump any teeth. Oh, damn it! Got the jump teeth. Okay, so what that means, rinse, repeat. Loosen these bolts up. Pull these all the way out. Well, this one all the way out. This one up until the motor can turn again. Okay, turn again. Now we're gonna pull this belt out of its home. And get this pulled as tight as possible. Now that's in there. Let's try this again. Let's see, something just pulled. What just pulled loose? Just pulled loose out of the part. So am I getting it too tight now? Is that what I'm feeling like? Well, this isn't going to be fun if this won't work. Man, really? I am going to have a hissy fit if this is the case. You guys know what a hissy fit is, right? I have no idea what it is. I have no idea what a hissy fit is. I just know it's not a good thing. And by mean, I don't know what it is. I have no idea where it came from, a hissy fit. I mean, is it like a cat having a hissing fit? Like you see in the movies and stuff that are outside hissing at each other? Come on, get in there. And I'm wondering if I have to back to the old extruder mount if it's compatible with the new front. All of this was just for naught. Okay, let's see if we can get this to work now. Alright, feels like that's working now. We will find out, won't we? Not being fun for me right here. This is actually being a little difficult. The motor bolts don't want to thread in to a comfortable spot. Since I've done this a couple times already, I kind of know what it feels like when the bolts thread into this motor correctly, and it's not feeling like that right now because I might have that just a smidgen too tight. Wait. Feels pretty good. Let's check. That's not feeling good at all. Oh boy. So stream's coming, it's actually over 2.5 hours now. I think I'm going to call it a night after this step's done. Apologize for the wasted 2.5 hours of your time. Shoot, I may even end up not listing this video on YouTube. Obviously Twitch is probably still going to have it. So if you just search for Jeremy's Makeover on Twitch, you'll be able to find it. Not that you'll know because I just said it on this video. Anyway, let me see if I can get this to work better. It's just this top bolt that's not feeling good to me. Oh, excuse me, the bottom bolt. That's what I meant to say, is the bottom bolt. Definitely can't have any of your motors rattling around. tooth here. I don't think we're going to be able to this time. If anything, I got it too tight this time. Yeah, that's not even bone at all. Alright, we're leaving that like that. We're not pushing our luck. I'm not pushing my luck. You guys aren't even here. You guys are yelling at me why I did this in the first place. Aren't you? Yeah, I know you are. It's okay. I understand. I'd be frustrated if I were you too. There we go. All right. Now we're right back to where we were. 2.5 hours ago, it was right here. Now I'm right here again. So let's make sure I got everything. All right, yeah, because this is done. All right, so I am going to cut it loose today. I'm going to get my other computer back up and running for the stream. This computer just can't handle the encoding. I've been looking over at I've been watching the YouTube and Twitch stream side by side over here. And the Twitch stream's staying up pretty well with all the buffering and everything. It's not too far behind. I think it's maybe like 2 or 3 minutes behind. But man, is YouTube way, 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 way behind. It's still all the way back to where I took off these things for the second time. So, you know, thank you for anybody who does watch this. Obviously, I made a lot of mistakes tonight. Probably could have done without doing this video. But, hey, I'm not going to take it down. I'm going to leave it up. Because maybe somebody can learn something from it. Learn something from one of my mistakes. I might print out another one. I don't know. It's barely humid in my basement. I think I need to dehydrate my orange Prusa mint. But I might print one out. Man, it's annoying. I'll take a look and see if it's in good shape. Maybe print another one out tonight and have another one for tomorrow. I'm going to, since I didn't get anything done tonight, I'm going to try my hardest to get on tomorrow night. No promises, work, family. All that stuff is priority number one. This is kind of what I do for fun. So, you know, we'll see if it happens. I really want to get this machine up and running and built. I just find myself 3D printing a lot of stuff, and having 2 machines is just going to be a lot of fun for me. My wife loves it. My cousins and mother and father-in-law and brother and sister-in-law love it. I design things for them and then print them out for them, and they just absolutely love it. So having 2 machines is going to be really handy. Plus, this machine, I hope, is a lot more reliable. The MK2S has been reliable. Don't want to talk bad about it, but just the problems I've had with the bed. You know, I got all the Z layer shifting taken care of. It shifts every once in a blue moon. I had a Y shift recently too. Never figured out what caused it, but it hasn't come back. It happens every once in a while with 3D printers. Shoot, it could have just been something with the power. I don't know. You know, this one with the removable magnetic steel bed and the whole platform being as rigid as it is, I never thought the threaded rods that they used for the platform for the frame of the MK2S was really that great, because it's not really solid. A lot of room for mistake in that. I'm still not 100% certain. I put it together 100% of the way, and I feel like you know, I did pretty well. But you know, it is what it is. This one's a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? A lot more stable of a platform, I believe. So anyway, hopefully we can get a lot further along in this build. Man, that's just so frustrating. Oh man, it's so frustrating. I hope you guys can feel it. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Anybody who watches this, I know I saw on the first part of this video, got a number of views. Average of like 15 minutes watched or something like that. So obviously at 3 hours 15 minutes, I'm sure people were just kind of skipping around to the parts they want to find. 3.5 hours, or 2.5 hours, 3 hours, 3.5 hours worth of live stream videos. A lot to watch. It's a lot better experience live stream. So if you want to see more of my live streams, because I do prefer the live stream, I just think it's a lot more interactive, a lot more fun. Had some live people on my previous live streams of the MK2 S build. I haven't had anybody this because I'm not announcing when I'm doing them because I can't make a promised timeline. I do apologize for that. But please do, like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, subscribe if you want to be notified. Click that little bell icon on the bottom. I think it's down there somewhere, isn't it? It's down there. Yeah, it's down there. At that bottom video on the bottom to be notified whenever a live stream is starting, if YouTube's doing its job correctly. I'm hoping the next stream tomorrow will be a little bit better, and we'll get a lot further along on this build here. But anyway, my name's Jeremy again. Oh man, I just looked over the YouTube video. Is actually way farther behind than I thought it was. Ha! That's hilarious. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Again, subscribe, hit that notification if you want to be notified whenever the next live stream starts. Again, should be tomorrow. If not, it'll probably be next Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. But anyway, thank you all. Have a wonderful night. Hug each other more. Be kind to each other. Use your turn signals. And again,